Everybody, this is Calvin Waite. I trade crypto for a living. I'm not a registered or licensed financial advisor, planner, or broker, so nothing on this channel should be taken as a recommendation to buy or sell. I also trade all of these things, so I probably have a vested interest in there. But there's plenty of entertainment value and lots of education, so this will be awesome. For those of you who didn't know, my subscription channel is live. So look at the link in the description over at cryptoinfluencers.com and you can see how I make all of my trades and what I do and what I think about everything. This channel is for more hypothetical and looking at trends, and the other one is for actual trading, so you might be interested in that. All right, good evening everybody. I missed a video yesterday, so I figured I better make sure I got one since I won't be doing anything tomorrow. But I just wanted to remind you all that I'm still giving away $100 to 10 different people. All you have to do is be subscribed on the free channel over at cryptoinfluencers.com. Cost you nothing, and we're just kind of building up this platform over here. So right now the odds are 1 in 11, so pretty decent odds to get $100. All right, I want to talk to you all about Ethereum. I've put a line on this chart, and it starts back in April of this year, April of 2022. About 8 months ago, we had this top here, and we spent some time under this line. We came up and created the line once we rejected off of a point in August, and then we rejected one last time in September, and these 3 points defined our line. Well, we've spent all of our time below it all the way up until October 26th. Now what happened here, this is a very important thing because whenever you have a line that actually is important, you can tell by the way the chart behaves around it. This line is important because, you know, if you break through a line, you don't normally just slip through it. If it's important, you either stop on it and then start a new candle to cross it, or you have a giant candle that breaks through it completely. Well, we actually showed a lot of respect on this line on the 25th of October and started a new line, and for the first time we had been above it all the way up until the FTX crash, and this line was almost invisible. We pretty much just went through it without without a second thought. But when we finally got our bounce, we got near the line, and then we were back below it for a while. And then this is what I'm talking about. It takes a big candle to get right through it if it's significant. Well, now look what we're doing. We now have, the first thing we did is we came back and established it as support, which means this line is important. And then we came up again, and then we came back down and did it again. So we've established this line many times. This line is a very important line for us. Well, as we were getting off to the races here, we rejected off of the 50, and this dark line here is the 200-week moving average. So we rejected off of that as well. And then we've turned around, come down, showed our respects to the 20, and then had a pretty rough day 2 days ago. And then, where did we stop? We stopped on this line. So one of two things would normally happen here. Normally, we would stop on the line and then start a new one below it because this line is somehow important. And we didn't. We just barely closed this candle 36 minutes ago, and we ended up finding it as support for now. You know, I don't know what will really happen. If this line is to be cut through again, we would probably go through pretty hard. So kind of an interesting behavior that Ethereum is showing on this particular line. I don't know if it'll be important or not, but I just thought it was so unusual since it's something I've been following for so long. Very interesting that we've done this. Part of the reason why I'm not sure if it'll make any difference is because this rejection on the 200-week is pretty ugly. I'm going to go to the weekly chart and you can see what I mean. I've drawn this channel on our weekly, and we've done a pretty good job staying in it between this top back in August and then this low here in September, back up again end of October, and then down real fast in November for a couple of weeks. And the next move in a channel like this, you would expect to hit the top. And we did not do that. In fact, we came up and the highest point we got to was our 200 week. And our weekly candle closes in 23 hours, and this is most likely going to look pretty bearish. So what does that mean? Well, there are a couple things. This chart is getting a little bit bearish, and I just wanted to give you a heads up because I have to kind of call it the way I see it. We are this line right here, yeah, at 1073. We have candle body support here, and then we've dipped down and touched it twice. If we were to touch the bottom of our channel, right now it's below that, 1055. And the lower we get in this channel, the uglier it gets. And the reason we could touch the bottom of the channel next is because we had this support right here that flipped to perfect resistance right here. So at 1277, this is a level that is at play. If this support turns to resistance, that means the next move is a break of this support. Charts will do whatever they want, but this is just the way it looks to me. So we're going to be watching to see how this plays out. If we hit the bottom of this channel in a couple of weeks, we're looking at low about 1000 or 1038, something like that. So you'll want to be a little bit careful. As far as Bitcoin, so Bitcoin is, well, I guess on the weekly, we've been kind of rejecting off the middle of our falling wedge. So we really need to kind of move above that in the, if we're going to move out of this situation. But yeah, this kind of reversal doji candle that I pointed out on Monday, it made this candle look like there was a potential move to the downside. And when we went up all the way up to here, it didn't look like it was going to play out at all, but boy, did we turn around. This is looking pretty ugly. This is a pretty bearish weekly candle, so it's going to take some patience to be able to kind of figure out where our actual support is. So we've just haven't seen any relief. On the weekly, you can just see these tops, lower high after lower high after lower high after lower high. And this would be a pretty weak attempt if this was our high, because we're nowhere close to our resistance. Our resistance should have been at 18,800, and the highest we got was 18,377. So we missed it. We kind of, technically the wicks did intersect, so there is a technical handoff between support and resistance. But if we're resisting down here, it's not, it's like we've definitely got a pretty big gap. So I'm not sure exactly what next week holds, but we're just gonna have to hang on tight and see how things play out. So that's kind of where we are, unfortunately. I was going to pull up the pattern matcher and take a look at that, but because this is such an unusual looking chart, this move here is like nothing we've seen. This kind of invalidated most of the scenarios that was finding. All the variances are way above 20, so it's not very interesting. What is kind of interesting is that we have a flip from resistance here to support here. So there's kind of an interesting conundrum happening. So on both Ethereum and Bitcoin, there's reason to believe that there is support on the daily, but on the weekly, it does not look like that. Normally, the larger the time frame, the heavier the weight. So usually a weekly would trump the daily, but it's interesting to see what's happening under the hood here and see if some of this can play out. But yeah, anyway, just wanted to kind of give you my thoughts before the weekend, because if I abandon you, that would make 3 days in a row, and that would not be great. So anyway, that's where we are, and we are hanging on tight through the end of this year. I was kind of having an interesting sort of philosophical discussion with, I don't know if it was a neighbor or somebody, but we were talking about Bitcoin and just kind of how kind of human behavior works in the fall versus the spring. In the spring, people are a little bit more optimistic. They're willing to take more risks. They're looking at, people are a little bit more free, and so it'd be very common and very normal for the bottom of the bear market to show up when nobody's watching. So it'll be very interesting to see if that kind of comes to fruition in December and January and February, when people are kind of hunkered down in their houses and that type of thing. People aren't out and moving and shaking. And springtime, people are kind of running around doing things. Kind of the world wakes up, and I think it'll probably be the case financially for people emotionally. So I think we're we're just getting close as far as the time that we've put in a bear market. We've definitely done our time, but it's just fascinating one day at a time to see how things are going to play out, because the bottom's somewhere around here. We just have to wait till it shows up, or we get definitive proof. Touching the 50 is a big step. So the more we can whittle away at this 50, the better. We've definitely had some interactions with it. We had a rejection here, had a failed attempt here, and a rejection again. So you touch a line so many times, and finally we'll get through. So we just need a different looking chart. If we can find a way to find support at a higher level than we've been down here, it might be what we need, but we just have to let the chart do all the talking, and we have to be reactionary and be careful with our risk management and everything else. So all right, everyone, have an awesome weekend. I will be back Monday. Thanks for making it to the end of my video. Make sure you keep those trades small. Don't force a trade. Don't get impatient. And if you want to see how all this works, please come over and check me out on the subscription channel at cryptoinfluencers.com. Again, the link is in the description.